Hello. Welcome to this hangout. Welcome to this Google Live hangout. I hope you people are hearing me very well. My name is Samuel Olekama. If you have not heard of me before, or if this is your first time, I will advise you to Google my name, and you'll be able to see other tapes or my blogs or other Google Hangouts I've done in the past. Today, I just want to make a quick note that I don't usually edit my Hangout. Everything I do is live. I don't usually, like other people or gurus do professionally edit or remove something or whatever, cut and paste anything in their Google Hangout. Everything you see here is live. Everything I'm doing here is a live presentation. So I just want you to be aware of it so that you don't think this guy just jumping here. I give it to you as it comes out of my heart. It's not professionally edited or cut or paste or removed or adjusted or everything is complete. Here as it comes from my soul and it's come from my heart. Today I'm not doing any marketing. I'm not here to do any marketing script or promotion or sales of any kind. What I'm going to talk about today is totally different. It's related to spiritual, religion, or metaphysics, or whatever you may name it. And that is exactly what I'm going to be talking today. Like I said, there may be some occasion whereby it may sound as if I'm repeating some words, or I'm sounding very repetitive of some comment or statement. This is because I want that statement or that fact to sink well, because there is a belief, there is a psychological assumption or belief that repetition of words can be able to sink in more fast or more into your subconscious mind than something that has been said once. So, I may be giving you a hint here that if I make a statement more than once or twice, there's an indication that that thing I'm trying to make sure that you understand it very well, or that you think about it, or that is a very key factor in what I'm trying to explain. Today, like I said, I'm going to be talking about law, belief and deity. I've been reading a lot recently, and there is a warning on this presentation for those of you who haven't known about it. That what I'm about to say now may not be logical, it may not be rational. To an average mind, it may sound some kind of cynicism, or to some extent, it may sound even like a blasphemous or something like that, but it's not. I just want you to listen or hear me out with an open mind. I don't want you to be a judge here. I just want you to, like my mentor usually tell me, I want you to be a servant, not a follower. I tell some of my friends sometimes that they should not be a follow. When I say that, sometimes people look at me somehow like this guy is like a brat or a rebel. A follow is somebody who doesn't reason, who just do everything. I don't like to be a follow. And those of you who know me or who have worked with me, you can attest to that fact that I don't follow. Anything I do, I know to the best of my knowledge, I do it right, and I do it with the intention that I'm giving in the best of my knowledge, with the best of intention, and based on the best available information I have at that particular time. It does not mean that it has to be absolutely correct or right, but based on the information and knowledge I have at that particular time, that is the best information. That is what I'm acting based on that information. So some people like to follow. Recently, I left one church because for some reason, everyone seems to take the pastor or whatever as a god or as a deity or some kind of somebody who doesn't need correction or whatever. They seem to be doing whatever that pastor said. Yes, I'm not saying here to be a rebel or a rebel, but sometimes we humans can make mistakes. This pastor will not even allow any member of the church to go outside and minister to another church. He will not allow even them to go any other churches except his church. He's so much controlling and dominating in the sense that he believes or he assumed that what whatever he has is the best is what the best for the people, for his church, regardless of what. Never give the people the option to explore. And to me, it doesn't concur well with me, because even if you remember, for those of us or for those of you who read the Bible, uh, uh, God still gave Adam the power of will, even though Adam misused the willpower. But God, in spite of all his creation, in spite of all his power and magnitude and authority, he still gave man authority to make decisions. That is why man was able to decide to eat that fruit, the forbidden fruit. However, he exercised his power of will in eating that fruit. It was part of the power given to him by God that he has the option to choose wrong and bad, even though he chose wrongly, but somehow he exercised it, and a God-given power or authority or influence to him to make that decision, which he misused. So sometimes we can make decisions for ourselves. When we are born in this world, we are born with all accolades and everything we require to survive, and given by God, not man, given by God, not the pastor. So if you're pastor or any other person, I'm saying pastor per se in the sense that they tend to be assumed to be all perfect, all right, all correct, all everything. That's why I'm mentioning them. If they are doing something that you don't, they are bound to be corrected. Pastors do make mistakes. I make mistakes. Anybody can make mistakes. Anybody subject to mistake and error. And even Paul makes some. Paul in the Bible, they make mistakes and they tend to, when they realize it, they even correct them. They go sober and correct it. Several times in the Bible, people have made mistakes, and when the prophet came to them and confronted them, they regretted and they wore sackcloth or they showed signs of remorse, and eventually God did forgive them, because no man is perfect. Anyway, let me go back to the topic of today, which is law, belief, and deity. Like I said, this script is not a detail, so sometimes I may be jumping here and there. However, regardless of how I jump, then I'm still gonna try to be focused and try to give best to you, my listener, to get a lot or to get something of value out of this live hangout. Like, I've been studying recently about law, and many things I've been realizing has been baffling to me. And sometimes the best way to learn something is to teach it. One of my headmasters used to say. So I'm trying to explain to you. Some like me, people are ignorant of it. Maybe some people may not have heard it, but an avenue for you to explore with me, and to this fact. Because the more we reason together, the more we learn together. And if I'm wrong, which I'm subject to, I would also appreciate if you can make a comment or whatever, correct me anywhere in this. There will be a spot here that you can even leave a comment or give me a note or any correction, whatever. I'm open to. And in fact, I love more correction than even more praise, because once you correct me, I grow more. Usually, I'm very skeptical of people who give me praise all the time, and because once they give praise, that makes me a little bit nervous. But once you correct me, that helps me to balance. To know, okay, I need to do this. I need to go this way. I need to correct this. So, law. Everything in this universe seems to be going by law. everything in this, since I was brought to this world, I've been observing that everything has a law. Everything. Yes, the first law I know about, or the Ten Commandments that I learned when I was starting from my primary, the first time I become conscious or knowledgeable enough to grasp is when they taught about the Moses Ten Commandments in the Bible. That was the first law I've known about. And even prior to then, I have been having laws, but it was not taught actually stated to me as if it was a law. Like my father would tell me, don't do this. My mother would tell me, don't put your hand in the fire. Stuff like when you see this one, do this. Don't sleep on the floor. Sweep your bed. Brush your teeth. These are all laws by your parents, even though it's not being ordered or marshaled out as if it's a law. But there is a reason why this is being told or even directed to you, because if you brush your teeth, you're going to avoid germs. If you make your bed, you're going to sleep comfortable. And not only that, they want you to exhibit a pattern. They want you to live according to a lifestyle, a kind of a pattern that will help you in life. Because if you start off not brushing your teeth, you may end up losing all your teeth by the time you grow up, or develop some kind of disease that may or may not lead to even more disease that may eventually be able to take your life short, which you don't want. So you start early to exhibit and perform those character, which is hygienic and preventative in making sure you have an optimal health. Likewise, making your bed. If you start from childhood not know how to make your bed, you're gonna carry it to the adulthood, and your lifestyle may be bad. It may affect your friendship or those you hang with, because at one point of time, your parents will no longer be there. You'll be living with other group of people who may not have the time and patient or whatever to have endure with you, not that you are living in filthy, or you kind of characterize with all kind of filth and dirtiness. Not everybody like that, and you may have a problem in life with that, and that is why your parents have started early in life to instruct and direct you to live that standard and optimum acceptable lifestyle that will help you in life. So when I look at law is everywhere. Even when I'm driving my car, I see law. You see, my car is trying to fight a law. There is a law of constant there, and there is a law of gravitational pull. So basically, what my car, when I start the car, when I pull the ignition and pull the throttle and shoot forward through the mechanism of the automobile, most of you are aware what I'm talking about. What it's actually doing, in fact, is that vehicle is trying to fight a natural phenomenon of law, which is the law of gravity, which kind of hold everything in constant, or pull a gravitational pull to everything. So when you're moving that car at a higher force greater than the constant, the car is able to move or accelerate forward or backward, depending on where you want to go. If you look at, for example, this pen now, there is a law guiding this pen. If you put this pen under a certain temperature and heat, it will not be like this again. It will be like maybe in a liquid, or just crumbled. Just like this computer. This computer may be made out of so many metal, rubber, whatever. If you subject it to certain other temperature and condition, it will not be as is now that I'm using it to do this hangout. Everything in life. Paper. This common paper is obeying a certain law. There is a law guiding this piece of paper. If you put a fire here now, or light a match and try to burn it, this paper will finally, you have violated the law of this paper, the law that put it like this together with another different mechanism, or another law that will finally turn this piece of paper into smoke and fire, which you may not be able to put it back. And that leads me to say one more thing before I forget that sometimes when that paper change, not atom or molecule can return back to the originality, but sometimes you cannot be able to bring it back to original form. In other words, if this paper becomes smoke, most of the time you are not capable of turning that smoke back to paper. Once it's turned to smoke, it's gone. It takes different other circle to go through different other mechanism before it can even actually return to paper, if at all. And if it does return to paper, it may not be again in your own hands with the same handwriting, with the same, writing as this one that I'm having in my hand now. So it have changed. It may take millions of years of generation. By that time, you are no longer alive for that for that smoke to finally be back to its original form. So that is when I'm looking at, I have some flower here, I have some tree. When I'm looking at them, they seems to be obeying certain laws. When you plant a seed, it obeys certain laws to germinate. When a tree grows, it obeys some laws to grow. When you shoot out branches, it's still obeying some laws. You see, and when the birds fly, the birds of the air, when they fly, they're obeying laws. Because actually what they're doing, they're basing their movement based on the force of gravity. The air, the well, the world doesn't absorb, the nature above vacuum. So there's kind of hanging on the air. And when they flap their wing, they're exercising another kind of force that helps them to propel against that what we call winds or air, which is actually a force or a natural law of its own that they're trying to maneuver in order to move from point 1 to point B, from point 1 to point 2. So these are all laws. And if when you in any house, in any household, there is still laws. Every man has their own law guiding them, guiding principle. Also, we find in the Bible there is laws. There's natural law. If you look at the river, every river flow has a pattern. I don't know how many of you who have traveled, but I happen to travel over a river or over a sea, not in a ship, but in a pure boat. And these are some of the things that still baffles me till today. When you travel in a salt water in an open high sea, you see different colors of water. The high sea has different colors. For those of you who don't know, you see different. Some places, some waters are green, some are brown. You can even see some colors similar to red in the water, and they all seems to have a pattern. The red color always tends to conjugate or flow together. The green always flow together. The clean one, even the one that we are capable of drinking, because right in the middle of a high sea, there is still an area, a spot that is not salted. In other words, every other surrounding is salt water. But in this particular area, there is no salt water there. Those are a spot usually we fetch some water to drink because they're not very salty. You see, they are all obeying certain laws. There seems to be a universal law guiding everything. So I've been reading this book and it's kind of been wondering to me. I was like, how did these laws come to be? Is it God that made these laws? Or how did God come to, first of all, in the first place? How does God come to exist to be able to make the law? And one more important question, the law. The law and God, which one comes first? Did the law come first before God, or did God come before the law? Because the Bible says in the beginning was the word was God. And God said, let there be. So in other words, when God said, let there be, was he commanding something out of nothing, or was it actually changing one form of thing to the other? Or was that light already existing somewhere that God just mainly transformed it to existence? Sometimes one can have something but not knowing what he has, what he or she has. You know, when I'm making, I just want to make a quick note. When I'm making every statement, when I use he, I just want you people to understand that he here connotes both male and female. I'm not trying to be sexy here, and this is a very legalistic and country, and people will try to interpret your statement in one way or the other. So most of the time, when I use he, I'm not using it in a sexist form of male dominance. I'm using it as a universal figure in the form of man. That is, in other words, my he connotes both he and she together. So that is that about love. That I just want you know make that point. Now, why am I saying this? What has this to do? What is beneficial? What are you grabbing from this or grasping, or what are you learning out of all this? You're learning a lot because if you don't already know, you know now that there is a law, universal. Like I'm saying it, I'm a student on earth. I don't know it all. I never claim to know it all, and I've never stated that I know it all before. I'm here to learn. We learn every day. So when I'm trying to find out that these laws, even when you go to the animal kingdom, let me use example, when you go to the ordinary ants, a spider, or a millipede, or a snake follows a pattern of law. For the snake to move, it has to flap on his belly and be able to maneuver. He is obeying certain law there. That is the way he was structured to move. An ant or a millipede will be going small to you, but to the ant, he may not be to himself. He may not be thinking he's going slow. He is going actually to a very higher speed than imaginable to him, to the ordinary ant. It's we that are looking it from another angle that think, okay, this ant is walks so slow and is very little. Ant in itself does not think he with his own mentality that he's little. He think he's huge and he think he going at a very higher speed than imaginable. So sometimes we may assume in our own thinking or in our own mind based on our own environment and use it to judge other element or other being, which is very wrong. We may think again that we may think that we have authority to kill the ant, to kill an animal, to slaughter the whatever ghost sheep, but who gave us authority to control those other people's rights of existence? Because just like you are trying to control other people, I'm sure there is other being too which are superior to us who have the right to, if they want, to slaughter us or to do to us as much as we are doing to those other beings. This world is for everybody, including the animal kingdom. In my father's house, there is many mansions. There may be so many other planets there that we don't know. There may be some other living creatures there that we don't know, which have their own laws, just like we are looking at the millipede or the ant as a small creature that we can squeeze with our foot or maneuver or kill or do whatever we want. Some other being may have us in the same manner. Would we like to be controlled or squeezed just as we squeeze the ant? Just reason with me with this. This has been something that has been going through my mind. and going through my mind, and I've been sitting about this, thinking about this, saying, what if this, what if that? You see, man, again, I'm saying man, mankind, man tends to think that he has the authority and right to violate every other law out there. Man tends to think that he is the sole dictator of what goes on. Even man try to. We are bound. We are created to be on this earth to work. We decided to drive. We created something that made us to, rather than walking, we can now go higher speed by using a vehicle. Man even went as far as creating an aeroplane to fly like a bird, violating the natural principle of nature. Man is not created to fly. Yes. To the best of my knowledge, the best of when man was created to walk, to sit, we are not birds. We decided that okay, we want to do something more. We created an object that violated the nature of constancy and the gravitational pull and propel a jet. We now start flying aeroplane at a more higher speed than the natural phenomenon. We now start going to the sea, another habitat for a different creature with a different law. We always tend to create something to counter the natural law. Man, let me repeat it again. Man always tries to create something to violate another law. It's even interesting, even in the universe as you name it, in the world today, some countries even make their laws or their constitution in such a way that it will violate another country's own law and constitution. Yes, I'm not trying to be political here, but some countries took it upon themselves not only to make their own laws, but to dictate other constitutional, other sovereign nation, other continent to dictate for them what they tend to assume upon themselves that they know much better than these people. Man even decided to go to the moon. Man is even thinking of going to the sun if capable. With other creatures out there. Man always thinking to oppose or violate another law, another order, another phenomenon. Man always trying to conquer what is around it. Now, who gave man that authority? Some people say, well, it was given to me of God. God gave man to dominate. So, dominate and conquer. Now, does that make, for those who believe, or those who have that Christian faith that, yes, man is supposed to conquer, is that his sole authority? Does that sound well to a non-Christian, to a Hindu, to a Christian, to a Muslim, or to an atheist? From whence did that authority come from? If you watch the law pattern very well, sometimes I wonder if the law proceeded prior to God, or if God proceeded prior to the law. If you look at it in one angle, you may be thinking that the law, God Himself is actually obeying a law. Now, this may be a little bit awkward, sound, ridiculous to a bit, again, have an open mind. Just try to reason with me. God may actually be, because since I've been in this world and whenever I'm reading or whatever, but first of all, I'm a Christian, for those of you who may be wondering. I am a Christ-believing fellow. But when you look at the way the world is, the word WORLD, it seems to me that the law is more perfect. The law, the natural law, take prominence than every other law. If you do your right, if you compose yourself very well, good thing will come to you. It's a natural law. If you live right, you will see right. If you live wrong, you see wrong. Now, some people, for some reason, try, just like they're always trying to, just like a man always trying to violate another law. They try to live wrong, and they'll go to God to convert the wrong to right. That is what I don't understand. Let me say it one more time. Man sometimes tries, he knows that if you live right, that you reap the benefit of doing right. If you live wrong, obviously, you're going to see the consequence of wrongness. He knows that very well. But he will go and do wrong, and for some reason, he will come to God to avoid the consequence of that doing wrong. And most of the time, he may think he's getting away. He's not getting away. The natural law, the law of the universe, will always take place. Now, I do believe in miracle. Actually, I want miracle in my life. But I have discovered that most of the time, miracle doesn't happen the way we want it to. Because we're always trying to control what is not under our right to control. Miracle is a steady flow. It's a pattern that you can create. I know this may be sounding funny or strange to people, but that's true. Miracle, you create your own miracle. Miracle doesn't fall, boom. That will lead me, even though I haven't finished on this topic of faith, but that will lead me to another topic which is under the headline here today, which is belief. I'm stepping out of law now. I'm going to believe. I have studied, I tried to study a couple of other religions. I studied Christian because I was brought out under the Christendom. My parents were Christian. My immediate family household was Christian. My forefathers were not Christian, but they practiced some kind of religion of, we call it, where they call it ritualistic or whatever. It's a belief. It's still a belief because they believe in something. They believe that that thing has power to answer their prayer. That thing they believe that it has power to amend, protect them. It has power to reward them for whatever they're seeking. It's a belief. It's a religion. When I start growing up and start messing around and start traveling, I've come across some other religions like Muslim, those that believe in Muhammad as their prophet. I've met Krishna consciousness, seems to originate from India. I've met the Buddhism, Buddha as their leader. and so on and so forth. But there is still one factor which remains common to all these religions. There is still one thing that seems to be a common denominator, is belief. For some reason, all these religions seems to believe on something, and for some reason, that belief tend to work. A Muslim will pray and have an answer to his or her prayer. A Christian will pray and equally have the answer. A Buddhist will pray, obviously who has the same and has the answer to his prayer. Krishna, even my great grandfather, when they make their ritual, they receive this, they see the consequence. They seem to receive the answer to their prayer or to their ritual sacrifice or whatever they ask or whatever. It tends to work. So my question then is my question to you, listen. Okay, why is this belief working in all religion? If Christianity is the best religion, the only religion, the most single religion that's supposed to be practiced, why is those other religions still, when you believe in them and pray, why are their prayers still being answered? If you can answer my question, leave a comment below this video. So my conclusion is now that there is a power beyond what we are doing here. It goes back to the same topic I did before. There is a connection between that belief and the law. There seems to be a connection in that law is universal, regardless of your religion, creed, tribe, race, or place of whatever. So that law now is universal because that law seems to be the one controlling this belief. If you believe in anything and give it honor and pray, you more or less you're gonna receive the consequence. Why is that belief working if it was from the wrong channel? In my search, I'm coming to the conclusion that the law is far more supreme than the religion. The law is far more superior than the religion. The law controls everything. You see, we can try to violate the law, but the consequence will always be there. We may try to go to the air, I don't care how scientifically correct we are. Once in a while, we make a mistake, the plane will crash. Out of one, somehow, mysteriously, there was some little error. Man can never be perfect. Man has never been perfect. Man always tried to be perfect. Belief. The power of belief. When you believe something so strong enough, it will happen. Even to this, even when you believe in it in wrong way. Yes. Even though belief is, I do believe on the good part. Well, based on my knowledge, and most people do believe based on the goodness of the part of the goodness of the part of the belief. But on the wrong side of two, it still works as much as effective in the wrong side as much as it works in the good side. Why is that? Why is that law both universal, both for good and for bad? Why can't that law work only for the good? Belief. As a man thinketh as he is, so is he. What you believe usually happen to you. Job say, "What I feared have come to me." Belief, the power of belief, so strong, so powerful, very very strong. Let me go to the next word, or the next principle that I want to say today in this my philosophical exuberance, or whatever you may call it. I'm trying to dig deep into philosophical domain. Deity. What do I understand to be deity? What is deity? Some people call it God. How does deity come to be? How does it originally surface? Deity. It's a deep study. In other words, some people believe that there is some kind of God there. There is some kind of God there guiding our day-to-day action and watching over us. When my great grandfather lived, in their tradition, and when they worship the ritual, or they make a carved image or whatever, they somehow believe that those images have some kind of control over them, that it watches them, it protects. That's why they sacrifice to it. They pay it homage. They fear it because they believe that thing has some kind of control on them. A Muslim believes that, yes, Muhammad is a man of God, that his teachings and precepts have to be obeyed and followed. Christians do the same way, that God is watching, God is everywhere. Same with Buddhists and Krishna, you name it. Now, my question is this: is it God that is watching, or is it a universal law that is already in place, taking its root or dictating the action of man? Or is it just a deity, a God somewhere that watching every action and precept of our movement or action? Or is it usually a standard law that's already been placed in existence that will dictate whatever pattern you do, you see the consequence based on that standard law that's already in place? Does God change? If God is the one controlling the law, does God change that law from time to time? Or is that law constant and never change? In other words, is that law supreme to God, in the sense that regardless of what God does, that law must take its root? These are something that I'm thinking. These are something that I'm still wondering. These are what is going through my mind, that I would love to receive some answers. And as I'm reading more, as I continue to study this and continue to disseminate information, if you find yourself here, probably you're going to find yourself again in one of my channels or avenue, and be able to hear more as I dig into deep into these three factors: law, belief, deity. Actually, I have more, including faith. I can think of mind. I haven't talked about mind. I can talk of thought. Thought and mind is different. Thought, mind, brain, sense, they're all different. Now I can talk of the body. There's three principles that guide man. Body, mind, and soul. And all this is different. You cannot live happily or function properly with any malfunction of any of those. That is why some people make some error in life. They try to they try to please one and please the other. You cannot fulfill the request of the body without fulfilling the request of the mind and soul and being happy. You will not. You just pleasing one part of the puzzle. For you to live happily, graciously, meaningful life, you have to comprise the ultimate living on the body, the holistic or perfect live on the mind, and the supernatural living of the spirit or the soul. Both goes together. Just like Jesus said, a sick man does not praise God. When you are very sick, when you are going through some pain, when you're having some kind of excruciating pain, you don't pray. You don't find comfort in praying. Prayer to you then, because you are in pain. The priority to you then is to get out of pain. Just like your mind. I'm saying all this in today because I've studied. I use my mind. I thought it proper to come to here and explain this thought process. It's my mind in function. There is a soul. You have to satisfy that inner soul. I don't care how the mind functions properly or the body is in excellent shape. Without the soul part, you know that that person is not proper. Somehow you know that something is wrong. The three goes together. Just another area. I just wanted to touch, just to scratch a little bit of law, belief, and date today. I'm going to be going deeper into that stuff that I've been studying. As I study them and what I learn, I will share with you, my friends, my followers, my listeners, or those who happen to just find themselves here. Well, you are blessed. I'm sure you have learned something today, or I've put you in a motion to be thoughtful a little bit. This is not a marketing pitch. I'm not trying to promote any article, sale, novelty, I'm not here to sell today. I'm not trying to sell you one kind of. I'm just here to reason with you, share with you what I've been studying. I study. Yes, I do. I study a lot. I spend a lot of time. Most of the time I spend in studying, if I use it to work, but I enjoy it. I gain a lot. I get fulfilled. I always get fulfilled. That's the most important thing. It's not about money. I'm going to talk about money even a different time. Money, I'm going to talk about money. Money, everything in this, money comes from what is in the world. Yes, I'm not a billionaire yet. It is not too late. I'm heading there. I'm going to conclude this live hangout now, and Like Carlos said, there is no stupid question. If you have any question, any concern, comment, criticism, feel free. Leave me a note. The stupid question they used to say is the one that is not answered. I'm still a student. I'm learning. We all grow by learning and by sharing. So I thank you very much for the opportunity, the privilege of listening to this and staying till this end. And I hope you come back again to see other. In continuation, I may continue a far more deeper into this topic today of law, belief, and deity. And like I said, this is just a scratch. It's not edited. It's not anyway detailed. It's just out from my soul. I'm not looking at the book. I'm not reading anything. It's just something from my heart that I studied, that I'm going through different avenues, channels, and to share with you, my good friends. I call you friends because I give you what I want, I give what I have. A friend gives his friend what he has. That is what gave me authority to call you friend. Thank you very much. Be blessed.